King of the Dot, Vengeance 2, Mouse Media Productions. My next guest simply needs no introduction.
What's good, man? The Saurus. It's going to be a big day.
Any special preparations? Anything going on in this battle?
Nothing different than usual. I wanted to be finished a little earlier than I normally am. Usually I finish like the night before the battle. I wanted to be finished a few days ahead this time because his freestyle ability is really good. I feel mine's better. I'm going to prove that today.
Where do you see battle rap in 10 years from now?
In 10 years, I expect it to be on the mainstream forefront. If battling continues evolving the way that it is right now, I don't see any reason why it won't either be televised in some form of weekly or daily series, or even some sort of web series, something like that. It's definitely going to reach a larger medium, though, than the YouTube and online market. It's eventually going to hit to where it becomes a household thing for everybody. That's how I see it going. I don't see how it can't, you know.
Seeing how battling has been around since the age of time and seeing how DJ battling has helped bring a unique sound to hip-hop, how do you feel battling has done the same for the hip-hop genre?
Battling has really shed some light on people who wouldn't necessarily, I guess, put themselves out there to get the exposure. You've got a lot of cats who either A, don't make music or are too timid to do so. So now they're given a medium where they're just good entertainers. They can get on camera and just naturally entertain people. I think that's huge. It also is bringing in a lot of musicians who weren't necessarily the best freestylers back when it was a freestyle era, because now that it's evolved into a written league, you've got all of the best writers coming out and wanting to showcase as well. So, I mean, the growth is unlimited as far as I see.
Through your career, you've been through so many different leagues. How is King of the Dot different from any of the others that you've been in?
King of the Dot I'm the most fond of working with the people in King of the Dot. I mean, the staff, the MCs, everybody's easy to work with. Everybody has a create the best overall product idea in mind, as opposed to just like individual monetary gain or something like that. But everybody just makes it so easy to work with. Everyone's so welcoming up here, which is huge. It's really just a positive mentality that kind of makes you want to be around that. You don't want to be in an area where there's necessarily all kinds of conflict and chaos going on, which we've seen happen in other leagues. I can't really speak for Smack or URL because obviously I haven't battled on that front, and of course they're killing it. But I mean, out of everybody that I worked with, King of the Dot is top of the list, no question. I would battle on Smack if I got offered the opportunity. It would come down to getting an opponent that I would be motivated enough to want to actually go all out for. I mean, I have a handful of people in mind, but they won't give them to me, so it's not, you know, they're more like my favorite battlers, that it would just be like, oh, it'd be so sick if I could battle Verb one day. I don't think it'll happen. Verb is, I consider him like on a level beyond me as far as what matches he can take. But it would be sick to make happen, you know, somehow. We'll see how Disaster does over there. That is definitely going to be a very big transitional step. I mean, Real Deal already making the step was huge, especially considering how well he did. I think that definitely opened the door for a lot of us. I've talked to Norbs, who is cool with me, and he's, you know, put the hand out there for me. It's just, I understand where he's coming from. He wants me to, you know, prove myself before I'm obviously given like a main stage name there. And that's cool, I get it. I just, you know, I'm not gonna be motivated to prepare for some random.
I saw that you're a little bit a gambling man.
Yeah, I play poker. I've played poker for a living for a little over 10 years now. I grind pretty heavy for sure.
What is a bigger adrenaline rush? Winning your biggest pot in poker or winning your favorite battle?
Winning the biggest hand that I've ever won in poker for sure. I mean, we're talking about like theoretically life-changing money, depending on the person, life-changing money in a single hand. Obviously, like personally, the gratification of like winning a big match feels really good. But at the same time, like, I got multiple mouths to feed. I have multiple rents to pay. I have, you know, people to take care of. So, you know, when I win a 40K pot, things are good. I would say I've been more heavily into poker than music, but I put out an album a year ago. I'm putting out another one this summer called No Gamble, No Future, actually. I'm kind of in a position, I'm really blessed. I'm in a position where I'm able to sort of healthily balance the two. Like, I do pretty well off of the music and off of the battling, and especially staying active on the circuit. I obviously do okay doing that and moving units hand to hand. Poker, there's definitely better money in, especially long term, but there's also the swings, the ups and downs. There's, you know, the potential losses that come with it too. I have been fortunate enough to be able to balance the two for a living for 12 years now, so I'm pretty lucky.
Do you think there's any up-and-comers we should maybe keep an ear out? Anyone that you see coming up in the game that, could be the next big thing?
There are a ton of people that are on the rise right now. The way the scene keeps evolving and the bar keeps being reset, people keep getting better every day. And these tier systems are eventually going to evaporate because people are getting that good. Some names that come to mind, though, when it comes to, lesser known than the upperclassmen, the top tier dudes, cats like J Pro, who's from the West as well, who's helping run the Cali West division. He's actually been around as long as I have and is just now getting some shine in the battles and is crushing, absolutely crushing. Shoddy is someone who I don't even know if I could say is under the radar anymore because it seems like everybody knows about him now. His buzz is extremely taken off. You kind of have to look at Daylight in the same light. From an entertainment standpoint, Daylight is a genius. And the guy knows how to keep people watching no matter what he does. People want to watch everything the guy does, so he's definitely on the rise as well. God, there's just so many people that are continuously on the come up, and the way the scene works in this sort of what have you done for me lately mindset, people are constantly being hurdled and re-hurdled. I guess the tier system is sort of always changing because of the way the scene evolves. It's really going to get to a point where there's just one giant level playing field because everybody's getting so good. And I think that's all for the better because it's just going to make it more entertaining.
When did you know I wanted to start pursuing this?
I started just freestyling with friends. We had a weekly event called Freestyle Friday back in my hometown that I would show up at, I would freestyle at. I was always really comfortable in that format, so the battle transition seemed very natural to me. Then when I just attended my first battle and saw the reaction that the winning MC was getting, I was just like, well, why not me? I want that. I can freestyle better than this guy. I want to get that kind of reaction. So it pretty much, at first it was a reactionary thing, the praise, that's all I really wanted. And then obviously in the era I got into, it was when a lot of freestyle tournaments were going on. So it became a pretty lucrative thing once, you get the ball rolling. If you get good enough, you were able to actually support yourself off it. So that became the motivational factor, But, more than anything, I just have a ton of pride and competitive nature, so.
Do you have certain attributes that you found growing up that you had that has made you such a successful battle rapper?
Definitely my memory has been the biggest advantage that I've had just as an attribute growing up. I basically was blessed with a photographic memory, not full on, I can't remember phone books and shit like that, but numbers absorb really quickly into my head, and patterns, so anything that's formulaic or sort of pattern based is really easy to just embed into my memory. By the time I finish writing a verse, I know the verse for the rest of my life. It's not one of those things I have a choice over. So it definitely became easy. I could remember the lines that people say to me in freestyle battles, use them as flips. I remember everything that anybody's ever said against me, so I know who's biting what.
I would say, what is your favorite line that you ever spit against somebody, and what is your favorite line that someone came against you with?
Wow. My favorite line, I think, was do you know how much the shit is worth in Middle Earth flip in the WRCs in 06?
Okay.
Just because it was a freestyle rebuttal that was so topically on point and that brought the whole point so full circle so well, and the reaction was it was really hard for it. Plus that was the first battle Il and I ever did in the WRC. It really was a tone setter for what we were going to be bringing over the next couple of years. So that one stands out probably the most to me. Me flipping Dan's round was fortunate more than anything. I knew he was going to do it because that's the only thing that made sense to me, Dan doing a double time round, because that's what he does. He's an excellent pattern hammer, right? Always has been. I've known Dan longer than anybody in the scene. If I didn't win that coin toss against Dan, I A, probably lose the battle, and B, don't get to spit that round closing as my third. So I was so lucky that I won that coin flip.
Is that a big deciphering factor in battles sometimes, the coin flip?
It can be. I think today for DNA and I, it will be, because both of us are pretty freestyle reliant. I have a feeling whoever wins the coin flip is going to say, oh, you're going first, bro, because he's going to want to rebuttal anything that I say. So, makes sense.